welcome back to another video, and thank you for joining me for the next part of the role tank quest that we have in Gridania. So let's go ahead and move straight on into it with the Keeper of the Entwined Serpents. In a pack proven, the Keeper of the Entwined Serpents has good news to share. Claire, the Elder Seedseer has grown strong enough to receive visitors. Come, we must go to Stillglade Fen at once. I'm a little surprised that... I mean, I know she was up against a really strong Blasphemy, but... I mean, she was just knocked out, so it shouldn't be like she was that badly injured, was she? Unless she ended up using so much ether in creating that shield, then I guess I could understand it. Oh well. I'm sure she's going to be interested to hear what we saw in that vision. But I really don't want to have to be the one to tell her that there's a good chance that this old friend of hers is the Blasphemy. Because that's kind of what it looks like. Oh, look, I know those three. And there's the Keeper. Elder Seedseer, it fills my heart with joy to see you in better health. I am gladdened by your presence as well, my friend. And lest you wonder, know that the conjurers found no trace of the poison in my humors. If you are ready, I would resume our search for Glyfnir. They may be up to the task, but you are not. 'Tis one thing to engage in conversation, quite another to go gallivanting about the Twelvewood hunting a Blasphemy. I am aware you are a conjurer of surpassing skill, and would not presume to gainsay your judgment, but have my wounds not healed? Those visible to the naked eye, perhaps, but I worry that the strain of your communion with the Great One has taken a toll on you in ways we may struggle to perceive. The Great One is a being of purest ether, and you were exposed to its unbridled despair, its raw terror. There may be consequences. I'm aware of that, but Glyfnir must be stopped. Until the Blasphemy is laid low, people will continue to die. How am I to carry out my duties cloistered here? How am I to deliver the forest and its people from its despair? It is your duties that demand you remain. I understand your frustration, but if you were to fall in battle, if your guiding light you bear were to fade, then all Gridania would be lost. Rest, Kan-E. Rest and gather your strength so that when the time comes, you are fit to do what must be done. In the meantime, trust in your allies. You are right. That said, I see no reason I cannot join in planning our next step. As you said before, conversation is quite unlike gallivanting about on a hunt. Our encounter with Glyfnir has made it plain that we cannot hope to triumph over it as we are. Only with the Great One's power can we achieve victory. When the seventh umbral calamity was nigh, the Great One committed a portion of its boundless strength to extend a barrier over heaven and earth, the Imran Hedge. Thus was the Twelvewood spared the worst. If we could convince it again to lend us even a small measure of that power, we would not need fear the poison. Therefore, I believe that we should pour our efforts into placating the elementals that we might earn their favor. We must make your voice heard then, yes? Indeed, we must find a way to assure the Great One of our good intentions, to remind it that we labor not for its destruction, but its salvation. I think, too, that we must gain a greater understanding of what drives Glyfnir. It seems to bear a resentment towards the elementals, the Great One in particular. Why? I had pondered this question myself. Lingering memories of the person Glyfnir once was may be responsible. Reports from Razadhan suggest it is likely the case, in fact. If we could but ascertain the original identity of the Blasphemy, but where are we to even begin our investigation? Well, that's where we come in. you were granted a vision of Glypnir's past, and I was there, then I may know who he is, or was. As do I, the boy you trained alongside Kan-E in her youth. Easura Supen, after all these years, is this what became of him? You mentioned him briefly before. Were you close? Easura was Paja, like me, but he had never known his parents and devoted himself wholly to his studies. He embraced the role the forest had bestowed upon him, and truth be told, he was a much better student than I ever was. A fair assessment. Despite your esteemed heritage, you never took to my lessons as well as he, ever dreaming of the outside world. Stealing off into the woods more times than I can count, I could not keep watch over you at all hours, not even if I tried. The Elder Seedseer, a rebellious spirit? I could scarce imagine it. I resented being a Paja. It was inconceivable to me that I would not live among the others, and I did not scruple to express my misgivings to Isumiyan at every opportunity. Easura was a pillar of constant support. It was thanks to his encouragement that I at last embraced my destiny and resolved to use my gifts for the greater good. We would become Seedseers together, I believed, until one fateful day when we were gathering herbs in the forest at Isumiyan's behest. We met a stranger hailing from a distant land who told us his beloved was with child and that he had traveled to Gridania to beseech the Great One for a painless birth. He asked us to guide him to the guardian tree. However, entry into such sacred places was not ours to permit, and there was something odd about his demeanor besides. With regret, I refused him, but Easura was loath to turn away a goodly stranger in need. He agreed to guide the man despite my protestations. I ran to Isumiyan as fast as I could, and together we made haste to the guardian tree. We found the man motionless on the ground, having succumbed to the Great One's rage, and next to him was Easura, alive and unconscious. In time, he recovered and related the whole story. In truth, the man had been an adventurer, a seeker of wealth and glory, and as he knelt to make false supplications, he lunged forward to tear a branch from the guardian tree. He was yet a child, and Easura had no inkling of the darkness that could dwell within men's hearts. He learned the lesson that day, that the price he paid for it was great indeed. The Great One stripped Easura of his horns, and with them the right to call himself a Paja. I was forced to expel him from the fane. Wow, that's harsh. I never saw him again, nor heard a word of what had become of him, though not for lack of trying. Despite his hardships, did he remain in the Twelvewood all this time, I wonder? He dreamed of naught else but becoming Seedseer, of a life in service to the people in the forest. He knew the weight of the responsibility and was eager to bear it. But he was deprived of that purpose by the very elementals he loved, and yet he did not lose that will to serve, I suspect, and instead resolved to watch over the Twelvewood in his own way. I shudder to think what could have hastened his transformation into Glypnir, as if his life was not harsh enough. In our final confrontation, Easura confided in me that he would search for a means to calm the Great One's rage and earn absolution. To that end, he said that he would seek the counsel of the Moogles. They have called the Twelvewood home for longer than we have, and so none are more like to have knowledge of its most hidden workings. It comes as no surprise. He would not have given up on his dream so easily on his dream. Even if the Moogles know naught of Easura, they may be able to help us in other ways. Will you travel to the bramble patch in my stead, Claire? I have faith that they will accept you with their characteristic aplomb. shall remain with the Elder Seedseer. Though I would gladly join you in the battle against all manner of fearsome foes, I think myself ill-equipped to contend with Moogle mischievousness. And I know you are a storied veteran of such mighty struggles. Oh god. Is it a really bad thing if you rather go out and face like a primal or like the end of the world and deal with the mischievousness of a Moogle? I think that's bad. Danger and threats and all of that stuff, sure, I can handle it. But tricks and like annoying little furballs, I don't know. I don't think so. Oh well. Let's see. It's been a while since we last saw a Moogle, though, now that I think of it. There we go. Oh, he's with one of the Moogles' guard. I think we know him. Ahem, it's surely you can see that I am armed. If it's all the same to you, we don't want any. Move along, Kupo! Huh? What a peculiar face you got, Kupo. Familiar, too. You wouldn't be the selfsame warrior who gave the legendary Moogles guard what for, would you? Claire, was it? Aha! It's an honor to meet you! Allow me to thank you personally for bringing that silliness to an end. Pukwa Pika's the name. What brings you to our neck of the Twelvewood? My, what a pleasant coincidence. We were just discussing how we ought to go about calming the elementals, Kupo. That Blasphemy with the dreadful horns has got them on edge, and for good reason. I've had to ask my personal guard here to sleep with one eye open. In case you haven't noticed, the beast corruption has been spreading all throughout the woods. Needless to say, we've all got to stand up and put the Twelvewood to rights. Raya O suggested that the Moogles contribute by scouring the forest for even the smallest sign of taint. Got to cleanse it before it gets out of hand, you know. Difficult and time-consuming work, but if it's in service to the forest, then we'll do it gladly, Koopa. Hey, I know you. You're the adventurer who gave me some of my finest scars. Koopdi Kop of the Moogles Guard. No hard feelings about the whole Hail to the King Koopo bit, I hope. Oh boy, I know you. I know you. Oh, that's a painful memory. Not going to call for a rematch either, in case you're worried about that. Ryo and the others cured us of our tempering, and afterwards set us all down with a stern lecture. No more calling upon good King Mooglemog the 12th for us. May he ever remain unsummoned in his royal grace and splendor. Indeed, and what better way to make up for past indiscretions than to serve the realm? Even now our kin scur every elm of the Twelvewood, and we would be remiss not to do our part. We would be overjoyed to have a hero such as you helping us as well, if you're willing. Something tells me you have a sharp eye for the taint we seek to cleanse. Can we count on you, Koopa? Your reputation for magnanimity is well deserved. Let's begin by moving to higher ground, that we may survey the area and locate any particularly nasty spots of blight. Up we go. I wasn't expecting one of the Moogles guard to join us, and oh! We're actually talking to him in the air. Oh, you were able to make your way up here after all. I was worried you'd be stuck. Apologies for leaving you behind. It's so easy to forget that your kind lacks wings, Kupo. Now then, where is it? I like this. I really like this. There, to the south. Let us cleanse that festering taint at once. They should have more of those. Being able to fly. Okay. The grass here is so brittle, Kupo. Restoring the area will surely put pep in the Great One's step. If it had feet, that is. Okay, corrupted soil. Let's take this back. Okay. That should be hard. This takes me back to when I was still a conjurer. Because we would go around having to cleanse the taints from the Twelvewood while we were learning To be a conjurer before becoming a white mage. Ah, that takes me back. That was a good series of stories, now that I think of it.
That was some fine work, Kupo. I dare say it's even better shape than it was before. The others are doubtless flittering about stamping out corruption wheresoever it rears its hideous head. If I were the Great One, I would be applauding our efforts. Well, insofar as a being without hands can clap, I suppose. How goes the taint cleansing, Coop-de-Coop? I did what I could, but I swear as soon as I finish with one area, 2 more start manifesting a fresh taint. The forest's ability to heal itself is waning, and the sickness is spreading too fast for even a legion of Moogles to manage, if we don't come up with a better solution soon. The situation is more grave than we imagined, Kupo. Oh, what are we to do? We should maintain our efforts to purify the forest regardless, but since there are only so many of us, we must also help the forest to remember how to help itself. A brilliant idea, I think. How do we go about doing that? Well, I was just getting to that part, Kupo.
You don't know, do you?
I've got it! We perform the friending. The friending? What in the name of good King Moogle Monk XII, may he shower us with love and compassion and Kupo nuts, is that? Truth be told, I couldn't remember the ancient's right's name, so I just made something up on the spot, Kupo. But let's forget about that for now and move on to the stuff I do remember. It's an old ceremony, first performed when the nation of Gridania was but a spark of an idea of a random thought in its founders' heads. They knew that if they were to establish a home within the Twelvewood, that they would first have to entreat the elementals for permission. So a mage and their company found and cleansed a few sources of foul ether, planting saplings in their place, and consecrated the soil with a prayer to show the forest the purity of their intentions. The elementals were so taken with his display that not only did they permit its people to settle within the forest, they also bestowed upon him their blessing as proof of their new covenant. Kupo? I remember now. The Gridanians still honor the agreement to this day. For every tree that is cut down, a sapling is planted. So we follow history's example. We can soothe the forest's pain and also nourish it with new life. That's right, Kupo. Oh, but I wasn't finished with the story. Remember the mage who planted those sacred saplings? He was none other than Dorvin, sire of I-Okapota, the very first Paija. From that day forward, the elementals would bless a select few Hures with horns, favoring them with their fellowship. Paija are exalted by all the people of the Twelvewood. Even we Moogles look upon them with awe, and that's how it all began. Something wrong, Kupo? You have a strange look on your face.
Glyphier's poison is particularly deadly against Hures. So only a Hure can become a Paija then?
How dreadful, Kupo. But what exactly are you saying? So the man you think may have become Glyphir was a Paija stripped of his blessing, and the Blasphemy kills with a poison that manifests symptoms that resemble those of the creeping death. I feel sorry for this Isura. To love the elementals only to be shunned by them, to be surrounded by the beauty of the Twelvewood and know that he was forever an outsider, all for a child's mistake. That despair could easily have caused him to turn, and this poison that preys upon those who bear the Twelvewood blessing, the Hures, just like the creeping death once did, might be another manifestation of that despair.
Oh, I see now.
That would explain the elemental's unease, Kupo. We must redouble our efforts to plant saplings, or they might never speak to us again. Indeed. Well, first things first, we must gather as many saplings as we can. Claire, wait for us at the Adder's Nest and make ready for a long and back-breaking day.
Oh boy, I mean, do I know any other type of day? So, this poison would be especially bad for me because Claire here is a Hewer. Wow, that's not good. I mean, I know it would probably kill other races, but apparently it works a lot faster in Hewer. That's not good. That's really not good. But at least it's a place to start. Hello, Keeper. We got a plan. Welcome back, Claire. Did the Moogles have any insight into our problems? The reenactment of the ceremony which laid the foundation of Gridania. A fitting plan, given the gravity of the threat our nation now faces. As ever, there is much work to be done before we can even begin. While the Moogles gather saplings, we shall continue to scour the Twelvewood for new beasts that must be purged. Let's pray that the Elder Seedseer regains her strength quickly as well. For now, take a rest, my friend. 'Tis a rare indulgence these days, and one you've earned 1,000 times over. Alright, so the next one is Heart's True. Okay, looking forward to that, but we'll go ahead and cut it there for right now. So I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you're looking forward to seeing the ending of this little adventure soon. So until next time, everyone, take care.